Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Let me go ahead and share
I'm
my desk
fine. This
here.
is Mays. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I missed the meeting last week. This is Miss Mays. When I read the post and it was after the fact, I'm so sorry about that.
Okay, so we've got Jennifer and we've got Florence. Good morning. How are both of you?
I'm fine.
You're fine. You're fine. Thank you.
Good. Welcome to week number 3. Let me go ahead and get the course up here in front of us. All right. Well, we are moving right along here. We are already in week number 3 of 5. Time flies. Hopefully, you're all used to the time change and happy that we are in daylight saving time and moving towards spring. And happy early St. Patrick's Day to anybody who is Irish, or even if you're not Irish, I think you get to be Irish for St. Patrick's Day. So that's usually what they say. Everybody's honorary Irish for that day. In week number 3, we have the typical quiz, assignment, and 2 discussion boards. So let's go ahead and take a look at those, and I'll get your thoughts and ideas on them, give you a little bit of my thoughts and ideas on them, and then we will get you wrapped up. Quentin and Ashley have already gone ahead and posted their main post to the discussion question that is due for today, which is many business leaders say something to the effect that we practice empowerment because we don't expect our employees to leave their brains at the door. What does that mean? What do you think that they are talking about? And of course, always with our discussion boards, there's at least a 250 word minimum to the substantive post, and then at least 2 comments to your classmates. So to me, what this means is that employers and business leaders actually want employees to come in and engage in what's going on, be a part of it, bring creative solutions to the table, and not just come in and be robots. Contrary to popular belief, I've heard a lot of people over the years say, there's no creativity in my job. They just want me to come in and do the same thing over and over every day, and I don't feel like I get to contribute anything. And if that's the type of situation that you've been in some jobs, that's too bad, because I think that most employers, by and large, these days, really want people to bring their experiences with them. It's like I tell people in my classes, I may be the professor, I may be the one who's the mentor and supposedly has the background and the education to help you guys along. But you know what? Every single one of you has had experiences in business and in life that I haven't had and that your fellow students haven't had. And so I always come to these classes with the idea that I can learn as much from you guys and you can learn as much from each other as you can from me. And I think that that's something that most business leaders really espouse these days. A lot of people get into businesses and they may have 1 or 2 of the key skills needed to start that business. Maybe they have the money, maybe they have the idea, but do they know everything that there is about that business? Usually the answer is no. Probably you've all worked for business leaders along the way where you knew more about at least certain aspects of their business than they did. And so I think you're pretty short-sighted as a leader if you just want people to come in and follow what you've done. Unless you can say that you are the ultimate resource and the best there is in the business. And I don't know anybody who can say that in any business that I've ever seen. Everyone should be open to learning, and everyone should be interested in hearing what members of the team have to say. So to me, this idea is that employees are empowered when they feel that they can contribute. People like going to work and like being part of a team where they feel like their thoughts and ideas and contributions actually count. So those are my ideas. Florence and Jennifer, what do you want to add?
I think that it sounds
Well,
good that they want to empower employees, but I don't think it's always the case. I think they give you what empowerment they want you to have, such as when I was working at AT&T, when taking care of customers, we were allowed a $500 allotment a day, depending on whether a customer wanted their bill decreased for some reason. We didn't have to get approval for that. But in other situations, we're allowed, to make suggestions, but it's up to upper management whether or not they want to actually let us or take on those suggestions and actually let us do what it is we think we should be doing.
Okay, so you think that it is selective. All right. So Florence, what do you think about this?
Well, I agree. I like what you mentioned, and I think that when we're allowed to participate and lead, become a leader, and have ideas, and you bring it to the group or the team, your fellow employees. Yes, that does matter because everyone has different experiences, and you never know what I may have gone through and what I can add to the organization. So yes, that's very important to feel a part of something more than just being in a robotic state. Just I know what I have to do, come every day. It's very boring when you have a job like that and your mindset is like that. You don't even want to come to work half of the time because you're bored. That happened to me a lot. You're getting these jobs and a slot job, and you know what you have to do, and didn't allow back then. I'm 67 years old. I'm a baby boomer. So I'm coming from a different perspective than most of my peers right now in school because they're much younger. They could be my grandchildren, great-grand for that matter. And I have my experience is much different from what I'm learning today. Okay.
I think that's interesting that you bring that up because I remember my dad. My dad is 20 years older than you are, and he talks about times where when the boss said jump, the answer was how high, and you just did exactly what they told you to do. I think that as time goes by, that people are becoming more open to this idea of employees having a voice. Jennifer working for AT&T, that's a very big organization, and sometimes those huge organizations, to be able to quote unquote control things, are a little dialed back in how much input employees have or how many layers of management an employee's idea has to go through to actually get up to a level where change can be made. I think that smaller businesses are maybe more receptive to the creativity of their employees, but I think things are getting better. I look at when I started working, 20 something years ago, 25 years ago when I got out of college, and I see how things were then versus how I see them now. And I think things are going in a better direction where people are going to continue to ask for more creativity on the part of their employees. All right.
Yeah, that makes it.
Take a look at the second one. Would you be willing? Oops, that's the wrong. I'm back in week number 2. I know what everybody had to say about being willing to take a smaller salary. Let's see. Let's get to week number 3. There we go. All right. Which influence tactic described in the lecture do you think works best for you? In this particular discussion board, if you do the reading, you see that there are several different tactics that are described for how leaders influence their employees. And I think that what I take from this reading and what I would like all of you to take from it is take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt. Some of the things that the reading talks about as being kind of negative influential tactics are tactics that I think can actually be used in a positive manner. So when you're looking at things like, persuading people to do things, and kind of, I don't want to say twisting your arm, but, getting you to be on their side, to see things from their perspective. A lot of those things, I just want you to look at them and go, okay, let's see if maybe there is even some positive in these things that the writer may kind of tell you look a little bit like they are negative influence factors. Now, and here's the thing. With this one, when you go in and take a look at it, remember that, there's not really a wrong answer here. I think sometimes when you read things that are in textbooks, you get the feeling that, like with last week's, hey, would you be willing to take a smaller salary in order to be part of a social responsibility campaign? I don't want you to feel like you are being leaned on to formulate your answer in one direction or another. To me, as long as you can back up what your thoughts and ideas are with some experiences, with some other things that you've read, with some good hardcore common sense, I don't want you to feel that if you read something that you must kind of take that view on it. Okay, so remember to be your own person when you are writing your answers. Now, having said that, I don't know if the two of you have had a chance to do the reading for this. Jennifer, have you had a chance to take a look at it?
No, not yet.
Okay, and Florence, have you had a chance?
No, ma'am, I have not.
All right.
So I can't
Then let
participate in that.
me ask Jennifer first, so we're not talking over each other. Jennifer, in general, what kind of tactics do you think work for you as far as when a leader is looking to kind of bring you into the fold for seeing things a certain way? How do you think you respond best? What kind of influence tactics do you think you respond best to?
Oh, I respond to incentives.
Okay. What kind of incentives?
Whether it be performance recognition, awards to add to my portfolio or resume. Money is always good. Time off. Just a long lunch. Just something simple.
Okay. So incentives. You are incentivized to do better and perform at a higher level. What about you, Florence? What incentivizes you? What types of things influence you?
Money, perks, yes, time, extra lunch or days off, the usual, just like she mentioned.
Okay.
Those are incentives that would inspire me, okay?
All right, good.
Even if it allows me to just show off in front of my peers a little bit, I'll take that too.
Okay, all right. And and that's interesting that you say that, Jennifer, because I've known you through several classes now, and I know that you have good self-esteem and you have a big personality. Some people don't want anything to do with being in the limelight.
Yeah.
And and others do. Absolutely. I think everybody needs a pat on the back every once in a while. I had one recently where I wrote a memo. A judge, I was in arguing something, and the opposing counsel was arguing in one direction and I was arguing in the other, and the judge looked at us and said, okay, I'm going to give you guys 10 days to go write a memo to convince me that I ought to rule in your favor. And I went back and, I probably spent more time on this memo than I should have in a way, but I was feeling very strongly about my client's arguments. And at the end of the day, the judge found in my favor. And I hate to say it, but the next time I saw that attorney in court a couple of days later, he stopped and gave me the stink eye because I know he was not happy that I won. But I kind of puffed my chest out a little bit and thought to myself, okay, you did win this round because the judge found that what you said made more sense than what he did. Small things like that, little victories along the way. Of course, I want to win because I believe in my client's cause, but I also, on a personal level, you like to have someone pat you on the back a little bit. And while the judge didn't come and, send me flowers and tell me I won the whole case, obviously I felt a little bit empowered by the fact that it was a little bit of a pat on my back that he acknowledged in his ruling some of the arguments that I had made. And I think that everybody needs that. I think even those of us who are good with ourselves and have good self-esteem and know that we go and do what we do every day, really trying to do the best we can, need to have a little bit of recognition along the way. So I can appreciate when both of you say that small incentives really do have a tendency to add up. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at your assignment for the week. Again, this is another 500 to 600 words. This is about Machiavellian behavior, discussing the historical origins and context associated with the term. Again, don't be sucked into the idea that when you read about Machiavellian behavior that a lot of people will say it's not such a good thing. To me, there are pros and cons about just about anything that you will see in these classes. So try to play devil's advocate sometimes with these items and maybe take the road less traveled and argue why some of this stuff may not be such a bad thing. So 500 to 600 words. If you read your lessons for the week and go out and do a little bit of basic research on Machiavellian behavior, you are going to have no problem finding more information than you ever wanted to know on the subject. Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
All right, ladies. Anything else? How are we doing? I'm enjoying reading your work. I can see that people are really kind of digging into the topics and enjoying them. Anything you're having problem with? Anything tripping you up?
No, not
No, I'm having a problem with the citations and just filling it with the reference, and I need to go into the forum. I think my other teacher told me to look in the news forum
Yes,
and
there's
go online on the line library, to get it.
Yes. The other thing that if you go out and you have, like, I had a student the other day in another school who said, I'm not sure how to cite a personal conversation that I had with someone in my paper. And I just went out to Google and I said, how do I cite a personal conversation in APA format? And it popped up 4 or 5 different sites to go to that specifically discussed how to cite a personal conversation in APA. So Google searches nowadays are the same as, back in the day, Florence, we used to look things up in the phone book, or we would go and get an encyclopedia or right. Yeah, back in the day, that used to be the way that things go. Google has now become that. So Google is almost like the magic 8 ball. If you ask Google, how do I cite, anything in APA format, that's going to bring up a bunch of citations for you to go to websites and take a look at. Another thing that I would suggest is if you do a search for OWL, OWL, it's the online writing lab out of Purdue University. If you search OWL at Purdue, you will get a website for a really great online writing resource that will help you with a ton of citation work. That is something that most students that I know end up bookmarking that website because it's got so much great information. It was created by the online writing people at Purdue University, but it's out there on the web, and I know that every school that I've ever had anything to do with, the students go to that website and use it as a really good source. So check it out.
And the citation machine is really good in the online library.
Okay, good. So as Jennifer's saying, the online library has some really good information about citations as well.
It's
Okay?
a little link
All
called
right.
citation machine, and you click on that, and you just input your information. It tells you whether you want to pick APA format, and then it tells you what are you getting your citation from. You can choose magazine, online, journal, and you click on that, and then you put your information in from the source, and it generates your citation for you.
And where is this, Jennifer?
In the online library, it's called Citation Machine.
Online library citation machine.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Okay. All right.
Okay,
Citation
good.
machine. Okay.
Excellent. Thanks, Jennifer.
All righty.
All right.
You're welcome.
Anything else before I let you ladies go
Thank
for
you,
today?
Jennifer. Thank
You're welcome. That's it for me.
That's it. Jennifer's out. Florence, anything else?
Yes, I don't have anything else. You answered my question. I have been out of school for a while, but I'm so excited of going back to school to obtain the bachelor's degree, especially at my age and with all the help that I'm receiving. I feel great about that.
And that's excellent.
You know,
And
when I have a question, all I have to do is just like she said, go on Google. My daughter, I got a young one here, and she said, "Oh, mommy, all you gotta do is do this." And everything looks so easy. You know, they're younger than me, so they know exactly where everything is where to go, where to look and find things. But I'm getting there, and it was
And
just
if
a little
you
slower
need
for
help,
me.
you can always email me.
But,
Easy to get in touch with throughout the day. I can, help you out a little bit if you need some help.
And let me
Okay, Jennifer.
finish up with this, Florence. This will make you feel even better. I teach graduate classes for some schools, and I taught a graduate class once, and I had some really excellent students in the class. And at the end of the term, I had one student who emailed me, and she said, "Professor Faust, I didn't want to tell you this during the term because I didn't want you to use it to I don't like feel bad for me and give me some extra points, but I am 78 years old." She was
Praise
78
the
years
Lord.
old working on a master's degree just because she wanted to be back in school and she wanted to learn certain things. And she was one of the best students that I had. And after the fact, she and I emailed a little bit and she talked about some of the things that you say. You know, it's a brave new world out here to be researching and trying to find things. Again, I'm 49, so I understand, what it was like to go to a library and look in the card catalog and you have to go down the stacks of books and pull things off of the shelf. I was even doing that in college. So for me, to go from college to graduate school, in that 9-year gap that I had, things went from walking the stacks at the library to doing everything online. So a lot of people who are younger than you, Florence, are in the same situation when they walk away from education for a while and then come back to it. The good thing is everybody's here to help, and I think you're finding that we are a pretty helpful group, and Jennifer just offered help too. So anything that you need, bring it to our meetings. Go to your student advisor, and this goes for anybody in the class. And I think a lot of the students that we have in this class I've seen in other classes, and I know you guys know that the resources are out there, so it's all good. All right, so having said that, I'm going to tell you all to have a great rest of your week. Florence and Jennifer, I'll go in and give you guys credit for coming to the live meeting. I hope the rest of you have a chance to listen to it in the archives, and we will press onwards towards week number 4. So take care, ladies. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, you too.
Okay.
Take care.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Jennifer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is Miss May.